Please take your seats quickly, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Hi guys, and welcome to oneminutetennis.com. In today's session, I want to talk to you about how to get real penetration on your forehand and how to use all of the aspects of the kinetic chain to get power and speed into your stroke. Now, as we've explained in many previous videos, the kinetic chain of the forehand is the body, followed by the arm, followed by the racket, which then was changed to the racket leading the arm, leading the body. Now, a lot of people viewing this will have got the first part of the kinetic chain. So you'll have the unit turn, you'll make the stroke, and now the racket's leading through, but then the body continues to lead, and then the arm, and then the racket. But what we want to see is the racket penetrating the court, firing the ball down the court with energy and precision. And to do that, the racket has to overtake the arm right at contact. This is kind of difficult for a lot of players because a lot of the swings that we see, if I'm looking in this direction, look something like this. See, body, arm, racket, and then the racket stays under control. Whereas if we look at the best players in the world, then they use this position to fire the racket away and through the stroke. A simple test of this is to see whether I could stop the stroke in the middle of the movement. You see, if I make the movement here and you say stop, then I can stop. If I make the movement here and you say stop, then I can stop. But in the middle of my stroke, in the heart of the movement, then I cannot stop. The racket has overtaken the arm and is pulling me through. A great way of getting the feel of this is to use a second racket. So now if I have two rackets, and when I make my unit turn, I'm going to place the second racket on the strings of my first racket. And then as I make the stroke, I'm going to have to swing around the second racket. So I'm in position here with my unit turn, and I swing and I finish. Again, racket back, and now I swing and I finish. If the racket does not overtake the arm, which does not overtake the body, then my racket will hit the second racket here, and the racket under control with no penetration, and the two rackets collide. So racket back, and now swing around the racket. Once you've done this a few times, then obviously remove the racket and try and get the feeling of the same movement. And when you've repeated that a few times, let's put it into the stroke, and you'll see that you now have a correct kinetic chain. Body, arm, racket, racket, arm, body. This kinetic chain is much easier to acquire and apply with feel than it is simply through understanding. So using something like the racket is a great way of getting the feel and applying this into your game almost immediately. So use the correct kinetic chain, body, arm, racket, racket, arm, body, and you'll find that you have more power and more control on your forehand almost immediately. I hope this makes sense, and I'd love to know how this technique works in your game or the players that you work with. For more help with your game, have a look at what we can do with online coaching. We're helping players of all ages, all levels, and all over the world, both on the mental side of the game and also the most precise part of technique. For more information, have a look at the website or email us for more details. So remember, to get the feel of the kinetic chain, use two rackets, racket on the take back, and now swing around the racket, and you will inevitably have the correct movement of the body, the arm, the racket, the arm, the body, and you'll have more power in your forehand today. Thanks for watching, and see you next time for more unique tennis lessons that really work.